Our lives are laid out on a road of bumps, turns, struggles, and more. How do we respond? How do we endure adversity for learning and growth? I'm Aubrey Johnson, and we'll explore these questions and more on the road to rediscovery. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Road to Rediscovery. I'm your host, Aubrey Johnson. I'm so glad that you are here with me this evening. This is a live broadcast, a live episode, but this episode is also being recorded and will be released at a future date. Just like all the other episodes, every Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, you can count on a new episode being released for the Road to Rediscovery. Well, guys, this episode, we are tying that proverbial bow on a great year, 2021. And we're getting ready for the holidays. A lot of good things are happening, a lot of exciting things are happening. Um, Christmas and the holidays of 2021 should be way different than what we endured last year at the height of the pandemic. Um, I know personally, we did not travel to our hometown up north uh, for Christmas in 2020. And so we're excited to reconnect with family for the holidays this year. So it's been a long time coming, and we're back here to the holidays again, and looking forward to connecting with family for sure. So, as you know, the road to rediscovery is about reflecting on life lessons to learn and grow from them, and to pay it forward and help others who are struggling through dark times. So, what are your plans for the holiday season? I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear. And you can let me know what those plans are by shooting me an email at road to rediscovery podcast at gmail.com. All right, that's road to rediscovery podcast at gmail.com. Um, my plans, like I said, in the next couple days, we'll take that 1,000 mile trek up north to be with family and friends. It's going to be a bit of a whirlwind, a little different this year from previous holidays. On the way to Cincinnati, we'll be swinging by Lexington to spend a few days with my son and his wife as he graduates from the University of Kentucky with his master's in sports leadership and health promotion. So very proud of him. Very excited for the next chapter in his and his wife's life. Just really, really looking forward to what the future holds and brings to them. So a big milestone, having his graduate degree and his undergrad, and I couldn't be more proud of him. So we'll be in Lexington for a few days, and then we will continue the drive north about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, to the northwest end, if you will, of Cincinnati. And that's where our family and friends and everyone's located. And we're going to camp out there for, I guess, the next 10 or 11 days before coming back home after Christmas. Anyhow, that's our plans. Very excited. A little concerned about the weather, given the tornadoes that have devastated Maysville, as well as or Mayville, sorry, as well as Bowling Green, Kentucky. Um, we'll be going through Bowling Green on the way to Lexington this week, so um, just feel bad for those families. Really going through a challenging time. Um, really going through just just tragedy and some just very devastating times for them. My thoughts and hopes and prayers go out to those families and the emergency response teams and all the people who are just doing good things from the kindness of their hearts to help those people who are struggling. So um, my hats off to all of you. Thank you so much for that. Okay, it sounds like I'm rambling. I guess I am, sorta. But let's talk about tying this year up in a proverbial bow. Now, what does that mean when we tie something up in a proverbial bow? Well, in a sense, from the road to rediscovery, tying a year up in a bow cannot be done without first reflecting on that year. And that is what I want to share with you. Some of my personal reflections on the year when it came to just some of the things I endured, the events and the different things that happened to me and what I've learned. Okay. I'm going to share a couple of those with you. And then we are going to go into um, a quick look back at some of the highlights of the episodes released by the Road to Rediscovery over this past calendar year. Also, I want you to share with me your reflection. Some of the things, or what is the one key thing that you have reflected on that has transpired this past year, this past 12 months, that that is going to be your springboard to transformation. That's going to be the key element to help you just redefine who you are, rediscover who you are, rediscover the direction that you're headed. Right? What is that one reflection point that has happened to you over the year? What lesson did you learn from that reflection? Please, please, please feel free to share it on Road to Rediscovery Podcast at gmail.com. There it is, Road to Rediscovery Podcast at gmail.com. Would really, really love to hear what your reflection items are, and just really looking forward to it. So, personally, my reflection items. I'll tell you this right now. Okay, the beginning of 2021 was not a good start for me, and it's well, now I guess I could say it's funny, but it wasn't funny at the time. You know, December 30th, December 31st, uh, it was New Year's Eve. I was just excited to get 2020 in the rearview mirror, as most of us, right? So when January 1st, 2021 came, I said, all right, let's start this new clean slate. Yes, the pandemic is still around, but there's hope around the corner, right? Vaccinations were in its very, 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 very much infancy. Um, Not too many people had them. Those of urgent, predisposed need, were getting scheduled and arranged for it at the time, January of 2021. Well, guess what? In January of 2021, January 2nd, um, I was hospitalized. The second day of the year, I was hospitalized. And it was for bilateral pulmonary embolisms. Uh, I'm medically inept, so just from what I've learned and what they shared with me in the ER and my pulmonologist, um, pulmonary embolisms, they start out as blood clots near the bottom of your legs. And over time, those blood clots they rise up, and when they rise up to a certain point they rest on your lungs, and it makes it very hard to breathe. And I was going through some very, very um, hard breathing. In fact, this was going on for November and December of 2020. And I'll be honest with you, I just thought I gained weight and I was out of shape. And that's all I thought it was. But then to be out of breath just to do the simplest of things, was I had to figure out something was up, you know. But thankfully, my wife said, "Hey, this isn't normal. We need to go to the ER," and we did. And the rest is history. I've got that behind me, and I actually change some of my routines to prevent this from happening again. But that's how my year started. 3 days in the hospital um, from bilateral pulmonary embolisms, you know? And so January rolls on, and now we're in February. And February is when Snowmageddon hits Texas. not North Texas, not Dallas, Texas. And uh, you've heard it in the news, power outages all over the state, and just pipes bursting in people's homes, which of course damaging carpet, flooring, damaging ceilings, damaging, um, walls, and all of that. Just horrible, devastating um, damage, to homes from these frigid temperatures. And so we had our share of what we went through for a good 8 days during that crazy time in February. And so, it's times like that I reflect on that happen in my case in the early part of the year, where I'm thinking to myself, while this is bad, while this may seem quite dire, um, there's always a silver lining, right? I've said it before. You heard me say this. I'm a hopeless optimist, and I've always looked for that silver lining. And so while in the hospital for 3 days with the pulmonary embolisms, um, sure, I was uncomfortable. I had IVs in me and a bunch of other stuff hooked up and made it very uncomfortable to sleep. And I was having blood drawn like every, oh gosh, I guess, I don't know, every 4 hours. So, my sleep was interrupted to get blood drawn again, and just a, a lot of discomfort. Okay. Even though I'm going through that, I'm thankful that it was detected. I'm thankful that it wasn't a lot worse, and it could have been a lot worse. I reflect in holding myself accountable for not going sooner, for not detecting this sooner, for just dismissing it as being out of shape. So, you know, I don't want to sugarcoat any of this. While I am thankful for those things and that I'm still alive and that it was detected, I do hold myself accountable for not picking up on this sooner. And I've learned, you know, I don't want to cry wolf, but if something doesn't feel right within me, go to the doctor, right? Go to the doctor, because you never know when or how critical that one uh, that one piece of discomfort can be. So that was a big reflection point. During Snowmageddon, we had power outage. It wasn't a constant power outage for 8 straight days, but it wasn't even rolling blackouts, right? It was outages for 2 hours and then power for 45 minutes in rotation. Outage for 2 hours, power for 45 minutes. Outage for 2 hours, power for 45 minutes. And we had to find the best way to manage that, that we can. As far as, how do we flush the toilet? Oh yeah, that's right. There was no running water either. You know, there's no heat. Obviously, the power's out. What can we do? And so we found the best way to manage and navigate through it, and that was by leaning into the situation, right? By turning your head and avoiding it, or by having a pity party and just being miring yourself in the trench of despair and woe is me, is not helpful. It's just not helpful, you know? And so we know that avoiding or uh, belly aching um, doesn't help the situation, doesn't help navigate it. So, we leaned into it. And sure, things were tough, but while managing it, I was still grateful to have a home where no pipes burst. Okay. And I have a swimming pool. So, just very grateful that we didn't have any leaking pipes. We didn't lose, or have a floor damaged or a ceiling damaged or anything like that. So, um, you know, uh, And my heart goes out to all the people who have went through that for this year. So anyhow, I my reflection there is to, just be thankful for the situation that we were in and the ability to navigate, lean into, and work our way around until power was fully restored on a full-time basis. So lots of reflection points. I know I just touched on January and February. I don't want you to think that I'm gonna, oh, Aubrey, is he gonna go through every single month with the reflection? No. I mean, I just wanted to highlight kind of like those two. um, I came upon an opportunity with my day job, with my job in April. Um, I was asked to, to see if I was interested in a new role, you know, and I explored the possibilities of a new role at the company I work at, and um, I wasn't even thinking about it at the time. But then, as I reflect from being interviewed and actually accepting the role, I reflected on how all that transpired. And then I reflected earlier to 2020 and some of the tasks and special projects that my former manager have placed me on to increase visibility and to stretch me in terms of stretching my comfort level, making me feel some degree of discomfort and challenging me in areas that I'm not used to doing or used to working in, areas I'm not used to collaborating with others in. So I'm thinking to myself, wonder why I'm doing all these special projects. Well, I like the opportunity. I always seize those opportunities. But I put two and two together and realized this was preparing me for this new role. Even though at the time I was doing those special projects for my former manager, I it wasn't even on the horizon. I had no speculation or thought of this new role that I'm currently in. It wasn't on the table. I mean, it wasn't. I didn't know it existed. I mean, it's crazy. But then as I reflect, and I'm in my new role, and I'm thinking, wow, this is very similar to some of the past projects in 2020 that my former manager gave me. This is very similar, and now here I am in this new role, and you know, don't get me wrong, it wasn't that the new role was given and presented to me for doing these things. Okay, it's just very interesting how the universe works and unfolds itself, where you're doing a bunch of stuff here, and obviously we all want to continuously learn and improve ourselves, right, and develop ourselves further and further. But as we're doing this in the moment in time, we don't know where that's going to put us. I mean, some of us, are laser focused in a particular job or role or aspiration, but you don't know where the journey is going to take you to where you utilize those skills that you've learned from that prior project. And that's what happened to me. Okay, so I don't know any other way to put it, but um, I won't call it serendipity. There's some part of the universe that works itself in such a way that this all unfolds before you. And to me, being a man of Christ is just the awesome work of God's glory. Is what is how I'm going to put it. Okay. So that was a reflection point that I wanted to share, and that happened in the April and May timeframe, and I started my new role in June, and this past June. And so, here I am, still in the role, and I'm loving it. Okay, so a couple of reflection items that I shared with you personally with mine, and again, if you could just share some of your items of reflection in this past year and how things unfolded to you. That email address is roadtorediscoverypodcast@gmail.com. That's roadtorediscoverypodcast@gmail.com. Now, without further ado, we are going to talk about just some of the awesome episodes that happened over the year, some of uh, some of the changes in the show that happened over the past 12 months. And you know, there's ups and downs. And I'll be honest with you, there's times when I've had doubts within myself on, am I sharing the right message? Is the message even being heard? Um, what is my purpose for this? Why do I keep going with this? Right? I've had, I mean, I'm not immune to it. I have those deep doubts of despair from time to time, but I always need to center myself to my why. Aubrey, why are you doing this? Not just why are you doing this, but what was your original purpose when you had the epiphany to start this podcast? You know, and I have to recenter myself to that why. What is your mission? Why did you start doing this? And every time when I do that, that kind of resets me. And, it helps my perspective in not getting too blown out of proportion and just focus on the message, focus on what we're delivering, focus on quality, right? Focus on a consistent message and helping others and reflecting and self development, right? So that's what I try to share in my solo episodes. That's what I try to share in my interviews with amazing guests. And we're going to talk about and highlight some of those things that have happened over the years. So, um, lots of hills, lots of valleys, lots of turns, wins and losses. But here we go with a quick snapshot in review of 2021. And I have my list right here. So I'm going to just read it and try to read it without my glasses, mind you. All right. So let's talk about what has happened from the road travel. January. In January, we talked about reframing with Madam Salah Ward. Madam Salah Ward shared with us the importance of reframing a situation instead of having the hair trigger reaction or response to it, reframing that situation to attain a new perspective, which could help you attain an improved outlook on a situation or an attitude or a mood or an event. So that was a very enlightening conversation that we had with the madam. In February, like I talked about before, with Snowmageddon, and in Texas, the ice. There was some snow, but mostly ice and frigid temperatures, busted pipes, and all this stuff. Um, I felt compelled to release a special episode that talked about, uh, in the midst of all this devastation, in the midst of all this uh, just chaos and confusion, um, there were some very good hearted and strong, resilient Texans that stepped up to help people, to help communities. And so, in that episode in February, I share three stories of just incredible resilience from some incredible Texans and how they helped others through that difficult time. In March, let's see, in March we talked with Michael Sue. Michael Sue, um, he's a coach and a motivational coach, and he helps people understand, whose movie are you in when it comes to the story of your life. Okay, um, we like to stay and stick with our stories, and sometimes our stories are um, a result of those before us, right? Our prior generation. And so, whose movie are you in? And he talks about how to define and figure that out so that you can self-assess in what direction you're headed. Do you want to be in that movie, or do you want to write a movie of your own and move in your own direction? So that's Michael Sue. We chatted with him in March. In April, none other than Lauren Yee, the cultivator of curiosity. Uh, that's what she's proclaimed as. And Lauren came onto the show and talked about the importance of curiosity from a development standpoint, and why it's important to be curious, and how to inspire curiosity in people. She has work groups and workshops where she helps people and teams um, spark curiosity in, with major projects, with how to interact with each other, and with goal setting. So, and by the way, Lauren Yee was also my century mark, the 100th episode that we celebrated being released by the Road to Rediscovery. So, great conversation there with Lauren. And in July, I'm skipping a couple months, going to July, we had Lady Chap, who is the founder of Her Next Chapter. I'm honored and privileged to say that I have partnered with with Her Next Chapter organization, not for profit organization based here in Dallas, and this organization is pivotal in raising um, and lifting up and encouraging um, women's empowerment throughout the community in Dallas. I mean, there are some very key speakers who come and have some, give some tremendous keynotes and conversations on just uplifting women, uh, whether it's women in careers, women in communities, just in a tremendous organization, and I'm very, very honored to be partnered with them. Lady Chat is the founder of Her Next Chapter, like I said, and she comes onto the show and talks about some new and exciting initiatives and changes that were coming with Her Next Chapter, which are now in place. So check hernextchapter.org. That's HERNEXX chapter.org. All right, so that was April. And that was July. Got my months mixed up. That was in July with Lady Chap. Sorry. And also, yeah, in July 1st, actually, we officially released the Rediscovery Roadmap online digital course. A lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears came into building this course. This course, and you've heard me say it before, this course is designed to give you an introspective way to develop and grow within yourself by using the 4 pillars of personal growth. Right? You want to look into yourself and hold yourself accountable um, for your own personal growth. And the course, it navigates you in how to achieve that by going through 4 pillars to personal growth, like I said. And that's gratitude, humility, awareness to others, or I'm sorry, self awareness and service to others. So you can check that out at roadtorediscovery.com/course. All right, roadtorediscovery.com/course. Just released in July. Okay, now that brings us to September. Do you remember? Little Earth, Wind, and Fire flavor for you there. Just whenever I hear the word September, that comes to mind, that song. So anyhow, in September, we gave you parts 1 and 2 of an exclusive interview that we had with Tommy Chong. That's right, of Cheech and Chong fame, comedian, musician, um, activist, just a Renaissance man of sorts. A great conversation, very relaxed, very laid back. We talk about his career. We talk about just just how he's reflected on how the world is today versus how it was 40 years ago. And he talks about some very interesting people on the Motown circuit in particular that he has crossed paths with. So you're going to want to check out the episodes, part 1 and part 2 with Tommy Chong. So that was in September, and rounding off in October and November, uh, we brought you Eric Harazi as he explained to us how to get the help you need in the safe circle. Okay, a lot of cases, there are places where we need help, in institutions, whether it's counseling, Alcoholics Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous. I mean, these are real problems, and these institutions are there to help, right? But how can you feel safe or like you're in a safe space while getting that help? To be transparent and to share, what it is you're going through without being judged, without being ridiculed, and without having your information shared and broadcasted, right? So he has an organization where they create that safe space. And so he talks about what it means to not just get the help you need, but to also get the help you need somewhere where you can feel safe um, in sharing that information, being transparent and vulnerable, right? And we also talked with Kelly Motley. Kelly Motley was an exciting conversation, very exciting for me because I'm a boxing fan. And Kelly Motley from Nashville, she lives in Nashville. Um, she works out using boxing methods. And like I said, I'm a boxing fan, and she obviously is too. But while working out using boxing methods, she she received the devastating news that she had cancer. She had breast cancer, and so she took the approach of addressing her breast cancer and the recovery using boxing metaphors and boxing methods. So she used the same methods that she's been working out with to overcome and uh, basically kick cancer's ass, right? Yeah, using boxing methods. And it was so effective that she felt compelled to write a book, to share her story, and to share how other people can use these same methods in overcoming their challenges. So that was Kelly that we chatted with in November. So there you have it, everyone. That is a year in review, just a couple highlights of what we covered from January to November in this case. And we have a couple final episodes in December. And this one that you are listening to now is the very last episode in December. We're going to take a 2-week hiatus before we, um, uh, well, to enjoy the holidays. And then we'll come back on the other side in 2022 to bring you more and more exciting episodes and awesome guests. Okay. Um, I also want to share with you, for once again, this makes the third straight year. Thanks to you, the Road to Rediscovery continues to be a 5-star podcast on Apple Podcasts, as well as being heard worldwide, all over the world. And none of this could be possible without you, the listener. I truly, truly hope and believe in my heart of hearts that what we share with you, whether it's through the solo episodes, um, where you just hear my voice, or where you're hearing the voice of many professionals and amazing, awesome guests who have gone through some serious tragedies and um, have triumphed over it, right? Have just basically survived and thrived and are now helping others. And they're sharing their stories, all in the spirit of uplifting other people. So whether it's through my guests or myself, really, really hope that at least one item has resonated with you. At least one item, at least one guest, at least one episode has resonated with you. And I so look forward to keeping the road going in 2022. I hope you join me on the road in 2022. Our journey is going to be even more exciting, like I said, with more exciting guests and some very, very unique solo episodes. I'm going to kick up the solo episode vibe, if you will, with some very interesting topics. I'll put it that way. Okay, it's something to look forward to in 2022. All right, and lastly, I want to share with you. You may or may not care about this, but it's just an FYI. There's no hidden messages or agenda or motives, but I wanted to share with you just FYI, because I like to look up, my dashboard. I like to look at statistics and some measurements, just to see how things trend, how things do when it comes to my episodes. I want to share with you the top 5 most listened to episodes for 2021. Okay, so I won't talk any numbers. I'll just give you the top 5. And they're really in no particular order. Okay. All right. So here we go. The top 5. First one I'll mention is Jay Williams. Had a talk with a gentleman named Jay Williams, and that episode is called "The Deeper Meaning of Man." Jay Williams, he launched a, a, a support type of service for helping men understand and dispel and debunk all of these preconceived notions of what a man should be, all of this men can't cry stuff. Uh, and men, if they do, it shows that they're weak and all this. He dispels all of that, and he helps them understand that there's a deeper meaning to who they are besides, the masculine exterior. While important, there's a deeper meaning to man. So that's one of the most listened to episodes of 2021, and believe it or not, Lauren Yee, cultivator of curiosity. And we're cultivating our curiosity in a great conversation with Lauren Yee. So that's number 2 of the top 5. Number 3, Belinda Farrell, a friggin' joyful conversation. And you'll have to, the reason I'm saying friggin', well, you'll have to listen to the episode and learn about her book and to understand what I'm talking about here. But it's a joyful conversation with Belinda Farrell. And Lisa Tahir, The Chiron Effect. That was a very powerful episode. Her book was endorsed by the Dalai Lama, by the way. And so, I think you will want to give that a listen for sure, for what the Chiron Effect is and what it means and how it impacts and can impact your life for the good. And then finally, the top, rounding off the top 5 is none other than my man, my brother, Mr. Nelson Beltiar. Nelson Beltiar and the journey to the positive drip. This man has had an incredible journey of just a dead end, no return from cancer, other tragedies, hospitalized over and over and over again, told he would never walk again. I mean, and he is now standing tall on his feet, and he is now raising and lifting up other people through his blog, Journey to the Positive Drip. We talk about his journey, and we talk about what the positive drip means, and the impact that positive drip has had in his rediscovery, as well as the positive drip in what he shares with helping other people. So those are the top 5 most listened to episodes. I think all the episodes are good. Maybe I'm a little partial to all of them, but any of them you can't go wrong. Please check out the Road to Rediscovery on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, Libsyn, Podbean, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to your shows. Um, it would be an honor. It would be an honor to have you join me on the road to rediscovery and become a roadie. Yeah, yeah, become a roadie. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, there you have it. Um, 2021 is officially in the books. In the books. I'm so excited to bring you more guests in the coming year. I'm so excited to bring you some very unique solo episodes. Can't wait to share that with you. And again, if you have any thoughts, any comments that you want to just share, um, or even say, "Hey, Aubrey, thanks for bringing the Road to Rediscovery to us," or just say, "Hey, Aubrey, have a Merry Christmas." Shoot me an email, Road to Rediscovery Podcast at gmail.com. Would love to hear from you. And you'll see me on all the social medias, okay? When we post this, as well as other things that I post. And feel free to, just check in, right? Just check in, see how things are going. Let me know how you're doing. I'd love to hear how you're doing, okay? All right, fantastic, fantastic. Well, with that said, guys, the Road to Rediscovery, it's a movement, a revolution. And guess what? You are now part of it. We're all roadies on this journey of life. And it sure feels good having you on the road with me. I wish you and your loved ones, from the bottom of my heart, the happiest of holiday seasons and a safe, healthy, prosperous 2022. I love you all. I truly, truly love you all with my heart of hearts. Have a great holiday season. We'll see you in 2022.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Road to Rediscovery. We'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email at roadtorediscoverypodcast@gmail.com and leave us any questions or comments you may have. The Road to Rediscovery is an AJ Shark production.